Hi Aman ji.
Hey,
Hi. How are you?
hi, कैसे हैं? Very
बढ़िया
well, very
एकदम.
well.
Yes, good morning. So, welcome to Love is Cancer and Zen Oncology.io.
Right, right, Divya, right?
Yes, Divya. Yes, yes. So,
So,
this is our Cancer
it,
Healing Journey Talks, where we invite speakers who have gone through cancer, maybe as patient, caregiver, or survivor. And
right,
being on this journey myself, I feel that it really helps us when we listen to others' journey. It inspires us that when they have been through so much and came out of it, then we can too. And it also provides
right,
us information like you are a caregiver, so you can provide information to other caregivers like how they can take care of themselves or many little things. So, thank you so much for giving your time and joining us. It's an honor to have you with us. Could you please introduce yourself and share your journey?
yes, see, it all started in 2000, exactly, I'll tell you, it's in 2014 exactly.
Okay.
So, in 2014, in mid of June, my mom was not feeling well for some days.
Hmm.
Like she's having a little bit of fatigue kind of issues, you know,
Hmm.
and also she's
Sorry,
having a little bit of.
सॉरी टू कट यू मुझे पीछे से बहुत आवाज आ रही है कुछ हवा की ऐसे कुछ
And
ओह ओके थैंक यस नाउ इट्स बेटर यस
So it all started back in 2014.
हम्म
So the primary symptoms, though we exactly don't know what it was there. So what happened is like my mom used to have stones in her gallbladder.
हम्म
And that was like years and years back, like 10 years, 10 like in 2000 something. She actually has stones pain, and after that we gave her some homeopathic medicines, and she was all fine. And then after like after a gap of like 14, 15 years, and then she suddenly start feeling fatigue. Her weight was going down, and she's having a fever and kind of stomach pain kind of symptoms. So we thought like it might be because of this stones pain only. So we thought of
हम्म
getting it checked and get it operated. And then we actually went for it, and then all the tests were done. So the basic primary test.
हम्म
So then doctor advises like it's a little more complicated, and we used to live in Sonipat at that point of time. So it is
ओके
no, it is like Delhi NCR and on a way to Panipat, and it's like a small city.
ओके
So then he told us to visit to a bigger hospital, and then we do some analysis, and we talked to a lot of people or nearby, and then finally we went up to Safdarjung. So one of our doctor was like known to us family, and then we get all the tests in, and then finally we came to know okay that then it's a tumor. So after that we get the CT scans done, and so by the time we actually get all the things done, it was already a stage 4, already infected to a lot of spread to a lot of hormones, like it was in liver, it was
ओके
in your lymph nodes, and it was all better. So it was already quite infected at point of time. So we thought of giving any second thought. We started directly with the chemotherapies,
हम्म
and we were given the first line of treatment that we have for uh, uh, gallbladder cancers, basically gemcitabine and cisplatins.
हम्म
And then after 6 cycles, we actually get the tests redone basically, and then it was very positive in the way like almost 80, 70 to 80% of the spots were not there
ओके
in that particular.
हम्म
And then doctor advises to go for two more chemos, and then totally we go with 8 chemotherapies.
हम्म
And within 8 chemotherapies, it has actually been to almost 90% of its original stage.
ओह
So, so the next thought that we have was like what to go next. So our family doctor advised that we take a lot of help from the doctors, and then we thought of getting it operated. So although the doctors in the subdivision is like we does generally doesn't allow people in stage 4 to get operated,
Hmm.
and but somehow we get it operated. We took the permissions and all, and then we have done the final surgery in BLK hospital.
Hmm.
So Dr. Kapil was there at that point of. So in exactly a year later, in April 15, we get the surgery done, and then for almost 1 month she was in hospital, but then slowly she recovers herself. So she was put on chemotherapy tablets, erlotinib. So that was a major, I'll say, a major element that helped actually her in the long term survival. And then for almost till 2015 to till 2018, she was totally normal life. That's totally normal life. Like people doesn't even say like she once had cancer, and we keep on checking regularly, and there has been a lot of lifestyle changes. Like she used to go to work and all, and things were back to normal. She was back in kitchen and all. So in 2018, when we do the periodic checks of after every 3 months, so what happened is like when in 3 years and the things were pretty normal, so doctor advises to keep the test done in 6 months instead of 3 months. So what happened is like when in 2018 we get the test done. So
Hmm.
what happened uh, actually came back in the lymph node areas,
Oh.
and just because the tests were done after like a gap of 6 months, so it actually grown to a bigger size now in the lymph node areas, and then finally it actually the condition became a little complicated, like what should we do now, and because it has actually become the same like it was at the beginning of the whole treatment. And then with the obviously the doctors were like in the government hospitals were like not so positive about the thing, and then they advise
Hmm.
us like it won't help long run, and you have already given her so much of chemo, so giving her another line of chemos will deteriorate her health. So although she was like totally fit and fine, and then instead of going to subsurgeon, we moved to BLK first, because
Hmm.
the doctor get her that the same doctor from where the surgery is done. We ask him, and then we take help from other doctor also, the onco consultant and all. So Dr. Chandragoda is there in BLK, who actually advises all those chemotherapy. So he advises to go for chemotherapies. And what happened is like my dad is basically works with government of India, so we have a CGHS card. So that's the best thing, that like all the financial issues that we generally doesn't face, which I feel like people face in their real circumstances. I have
Yes.
seen a lot of people instead of, so BLK was not there at that point of time in CGHS, so we went to Max Saket. So doctor was there. I just forgot the name of the doctor. Dr. Sandeep.
Okay.
So we went to him. He was earlier in Max in the BLK, so he moved to a consultant, to senior consultant in Max Sakid, and then we go through all the things, and then finally the doctor finally thought of giving her the same regimen that have actually helped her the first time. So again we go down with almost six more cycle of chemotherapies, and within obviously the results were the same. It was positive at that point of time. The cancer was nowhere, but what happened is like after 6 months, when the whole treatment was over, and after 2 months, she was totally fine. She was recovering well. She started feeling pain in her back,
Hmm.
basically the lower back, spinal side. So we checked with the doctor. So doctor advised to go with chemotherapies and all, or go with one more CT scan. So when we go for a CT scan, the cancer has again respread, and
Oh.
it has again come up. So what happened is like in the meantime, because of doing her chemotherapies, uh, she has started developed CKD in the last cycle of treatment. So because of cisplatin and carboplatin, she has developed CKD by that point of time.
What is
So her
CKD?
kidney, chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
Yes, because of the excess chemotherapies and all.
Okay.
So so what happened is like now instead of giving her the next second best line of treatment, we have to move to the third best line of treatment.
Hmm.
So because if we given a second best line of treatment, she could have become a dialysis patient, which actually doesn't doctor wants to complicate the case.
Hmm.
So instead of giving the second, we move to the third line of treatment. And so what happened is like we used to keep following with the uh, nephrologist, same point of time with each before the cycle, before each chemotherapy session,
Hmm.
and then we gave and we started the chemotherapies again. So for around six cycle went up, and the good and the bad point is like the good point is like the cancer was stable in its where it is not spreading.
Hmm.
So during another 4 months almost, it was not spreading. It was stable at that point of time. So after that, what happened is like again 1 or 2 months she was fine, and again then start developing a pain in her nodes. So finally we thought of just to eliminate the pain. Doctor advised to go for radiotherapies. So now we went for radiotherapy.
Hmm.
So after radiotherapies, within like she went for 25 sessions, and within 25 sessions, she turned out to be totally fine, like like before,
Hmm.
and there was no pain. So she was always optimistic, and she was always energetic, and she used to go to walks and all. So that's make her like always comfortable with treatment. And although the doctors was also very supportive in the in basically the Max Saket, and there we are already dealing with a lot of pain management. Doctor was there, palliative care was there, and also the psychology doctor was there. So
Okay.
they were helping her out with all the things. and then what happened is like another 3 4 months passed in 2019. We go for again chemo, one more round of radiotherapies, because her cancer have actually spread to her basically the chest nodes near the
Okay.
lungs. So then doctor advised, because what happened is like she's getting a persistent regular fevers,
Hmm.
and she has got it has spread to the neck. So and it has spread to some part of the chest. So as she was having a regular fever, instead of not going for chemos, we give, try to give her radio. So we gave her radiotherapies on the neck and the chest area. So it helped her some to some extent. And another 1 or 2 months passed like that way. So what happened after that is like we went for another check after 2 months, when she was totally again fine, normal, no symptoms of pain and all.
Hmm.
And then we go for a CT scan. What happened is like over a period of time, she has start developing the fluid in her lungs. So her she developed fluid in both the lungs, and then again we have to go for suction of her both the lungs fluid. So that again became another process. And then after that, what happened is like we get it drained, both the lungs we get it drained.
Hmm.
And After 1 month, doctor gave her medicines and all antibiotics. And then what happened is like then again the same story. 1 or 2 months it was fine. Again she started getting a pain. So then we thought of going for immunotherapies. That was the last option we have.
Okay.
And then we done her DNA gene mapping test and all.
Hmm.
So we send the reports to US. From there we get the gene mapping. So her tumor mutational burden, that is the basic criteria that we have in immunotherapy, was intermediate level. So doctor was like 50-50% was the case. Like it can be a positive, it can be a negative. It is like kind of situation.
Hmm.
So even I went to Rajiv Gandhi also. I wrote up a mails to Tata Memorial also. So and I went to 3-4 hospitals. So all have a very different point of view at this point of time. So what happened is like when I went to Rajiv Gandhi, they said like immunotherapies will not help because the report is in intermediate. So instead of going for it, we should go for the second best line of regimen, provided like she will lose her both the kidneys. So that's the risk we have to take. And even the Tata Memorial Hospital gave the same advice. And then, but the BLK and the Max Hospital doctor said like we can go for the second, fourth time chemotherapies, but that will not help her. Like her kidneys will be totally gone, and that will be a more complicated situation then.
Okay.
So we will not be in a state to give a normal treatment also.
Hmm.
So and by that time she's already on morphines for the last 1 year. She's regularly taking morphines and all, and we are totally helping her out in that way. So then finally we gave her the first line of after a lot of analysis. Then we gave her the first shots of immunotherapy, and then it helped her in terms of pain. The tumor actually suppressed all of a sudden. Within 2-3 days, she was again painless. And then again, it is like 15-day cycle we have. So again, we gave her another round of shots. So when we gave her another round of shots, what happened to her is like she get pneumonia.
Oh.
So that is the basically the bad thing that have actually happened. And also
Hmm.
there has been lot of struggle that is going on in basically was like we get immunotherapy is like very expensive.
Hmm.
So each basically shot with like costing around 2 to 2.5 lakhs per shot,
Oh. Oh.
and then you have to give it like every 15 days. So usually we used to get the medicine from the dispensary that is free of cost.
Hmm.
But the problem lies is like the Max is not taking the medicine. So again we have to shift to the BLK hospital after almost a 2 year treatment with the Max doctor. So what happened is like when we went to BLK and gave her another shot of prots, she gets pneumonia, and what happened is like when she was feeling pain, a doctor, and she is also having a lot of vomit issues and all.
Hmm.
So doctor put her on like high doses of phenylethyl patches along with morphines, and also they gave her what you call as anti-vomiting medicine is there. Particularly, I don't remember the name. So that because of that prolonged period of that particular medicine, gastro resistant and all, she
Hmm.
developed Parkinson
Oh.
by this time. So now we have three difficult situations to take care. She already has the cancer treatments,
Hmm.
and she get PKD, she get Parkinson, and her one lungs is like almost gone because
Oh.
of pneumonia, and so the case gets very complicated. So then we rush her again back to the Max, and there we give her proper treatment. She get fungal infection in both her legs, so we gave her antifungal disease treatments. her CKD treatment was like going on, so it was already in a stable state, so it was already controlled. And for Parkinson, we consulted to a lot of neurologists, so they gave her Syndopa, and because of that, she had a lot. And then one for lungs, I think it was already gone. We because then we go for a lot of bronchoscopy and all we have gone through.
Hmm.
So and that's that's how it's become more. So almost like 30-40 days she was in hospital treating all of these particular yes so many of disease. And one day
Hmm.
what happened is like because of Parkinson we were always sleeping in the room and she fell from the bed
Oh.
and her legs get like little hit. And what happened is like after that she was not able to walk
Hmm.
because of Parkinson. Her she has a lot of muscle issue. So then we have to get a wheelchair for her. So she even went to ICU because her saturation went down below 90,
Oh.
and lungs were totally collapsing slowly and slowly. So doctor was not optimistic like she'll make it up. But somehow it's all doctor says it's small because of magic, and she recovered all of a sudden. And we had a lot of tests done. We get her lumbar puncture test we do, and a lot of
Hmm.
other things we do to check on any kind of infection in the spinal fluid or the brain fluid. But all
Hmm.
went normal, and after 35 days she went back to normal, and then we took her home. So 1 month she was fine. For almost a month, she was obviously a bedridden. And I used to walk on wheelchair instead of all,
Hmm.
and a little lethargic now. I put up a little weight, and
Hmm.
then slowly one day, what happened is like so her stomach get very stubborn, totally tight, rigid, and she's not able to walk, and she's not able to sit. So we took her to hospital. So no motion was going, no gas was
Hmm.
passing. So we took her to hospital, and then finally it was in December last year, and
Hmm.
when we get an ultrasound check, then we actually see like it is kind of a sepsis that have actually developed that particular area. And because of sepsis, what happened is like her lungs, which have actually was totally fine, all of a sudden she get multiple infections. So within like she was totally fine. We get her admitted by evening, and
Hmm.
by mid of night within 6 hours she get her condition gets very complicated. Her BP was going down, and then her blood pressure got down, then her sugar level drops, her saturation level drops, and suddenly we have to rush her to the ICU. So we rush her to ICU in basically by like 5 in the morning, and
Hmm.
then by like I'll say by evening she has been unconscious because of the sepsis in the fluid. Her liver have actually got damaged because of a lot of medication and all. And I think then she was two more days were in ICU, but doctor has already given us the particular hints like I don't think so she'll make it up. And it was a lot of things went up during that period because we were actually taking a lot of counseling from the palliative doctor, like if any kind of these particular issues come up, whether you put her on whether you want to put her on ventilator or not.
Hmm.
And so a lot of decisions we take, we never put her on ventilator. I was discussing the case with Gautam also at that point of time. So we made a strict line not to put the patient on ventilator because that will increase her sufferings. So ultimately, the last 3, 4, 5 days was like to keep the sufferings low, and just let the people go if it's not putting that way. So we never put her on ventilator. We never uh, put her on so much of extra medicines during the last days. Although the things were we know from the last for the last 2 3 months we actually came to know like things are not gonna be good. And so, but the journey in itself was like almost 5.5 years. And I'll say like in the 5.5 years till the last very moment, we never let her realize like she'll not turn out to be good. Every moment she was in hospital, and we said like it is a very normal case, and you will turn out to be fine. And so she never get that particular negative attitude or negative mindset in her thoughts, like he obviously he, I'll not be fine and all. So that is the first thing that I think we done good, because if you tell a person like things are not fine and you have so much of time, so that definitely any of a strong person will broke down, and obviously will then start thinking of like when things have and let it end as soon as possible. So
Yes.
we never thought of and never put her in that way. And also I'll say the great support from the hospital staff. But I'll say like in terms of the disease, it's very money. It's like a gold digger, I'll say. Uh, we used to spend like 7, 7, 8 lakhs a month
Oh.
in hospital, and all your treatment, all your things. I was just expecting like how a poor can afford all these kind of treatment, because palliative care is in itself is like so expensive. And I've seen a lot of patients out there. It's very painful, very painful. I don't think so. Person, my mom used to cry. We know she used to cry each and every day in pain. It's very painful. So although I then just wish like we should have a we should have, I even advise a lot of doctors to my near ones, like we should have a palliative care section in even in government hospitals, like the existing department. I don't think so it help a lot to the poor patient in terms of palliative care, because I have seen the conditions like even a patient who is terminally ill, I think needs more care than a patient who is at the starting of the treatment, because by the end of
Yes.
the time you've been the patient gets so weird, and not every person is able to afford a nurse and a doctor at home, which
Yes.
basically the doctors from the private hospital advise like to set up all the treatment at home only, because we used to have oxygen cylinder, we used to have every instrument and every treatment we used to have it at home only.
Hmm.
And if I have known various people which I met in the hospital, they have set up the whole hospital within their house, and the per day cost is like 50,000, 60,000.
Oh.
So obviously not every person can afford these kind of facilities. It is like only available to the, I'll say, the higher class and to older people. So I think it's a lot more to go to extend these particular facilities to the common people, I feel, because we have seen conditions in Safdarjung, because it's a government hospital. We never used to get beds. We used to get the treatment done sitting on the chairs, sitting on the
Oh.
floors. Yes,
Oh.
so the conditions is like it is so much overburden. You don't even get beds. You have to get all your beddings and all you have to take. You have to find a corner and get the treatment done. So there is a lot of struggle out there. And in terms of quality of treatment, I'll say like the doctors over there are like too much overburdened with the number of patients they see. Each doctor they see more than 100 patients a day. So what kind of justice I think they can give to 100 patients if they are seeing it in a single day. So that happens somewhere to in my mom case also, because when in the previous report, when the cancer have actually started spreading again, it was just a spot, but because of the delay of treatment and delay of the diagnosis, again it spread to its earlier stage. So we now think like if it would have been detected earlier in stage, we could have reoperated, or we could have give her a lot many options are there, because treating a disease at a smaller level is much easier than treating it at a later stage. It
Yes.
this is the whole time, this time lag is the whole thing, I think, that actually uh, decides the lifespan of a person. If it's get
Hmm.
diagnosed early, obviously you have 1 or 2 more years. If it's get diagnosed late, you will have 2 or more less years. So I think the diagnosis is in itself is a very important part
Hmm.
in terms of this particular disease, and the rest is lies is like, I'll say, in terms of uh, disease. Obviously, your personal life, your professional life gets affected a lot,
Hmm.
and I say my in the last 2 years, almost in 2 years we have almost 1.5 years we used to be in hospitals only. So obviously ऑफिस तो नहीं इतना कुछ बना. So and ultimately I have to lose my job also because of all these people doesn't support you in a long run. I have seen all those issues. So obviously, and even after a lot of things is going on, I'll say, normally the people in the society doesn't help in so much in a positive way. Only the people who have gone through this particular disease really acknowledge the condition of the person and they help out.
Yes.
For rest of the people who have not been through it, I think this is a very normal phenomena for them. So I think it it needs to be. I think this needs a better awareness for the common people also, to how they can to help to the people who are actually suffering and also to the caregiver itself.
Yes.
And also I think in terms of treatment also, I think like we are at like still at medieval treatment, particularly in the government hospitals. Say the treatment that we are actually giving is still the it's still late 20th and 20th year back treatments we are giving also. Although I'll say in terms of treatment also, your doctor and your hospital matters a lot. In
Yes.
government hospital you will get only the basic treatments,
Hmm.
you will not get the advanced treatments. Whereas in, I'll say, in private hospitals, you go to top hospitals, you get a better treatment also, and you get a, I'll definitely say you get a better treatment uh, in terms of if the case is complicated in itself,
Yes.
because they handle the case very well.
Hmm.
And in government hospitals you will not finding it like, if it is basically like if you have a comorbidity, you are having a multiple issues developing, like with my mom case, like it is a multiple case now. She got Parkinson, she got CKD, she got lungs issues. So all the doctors we used to consult, pulmonologist we consult, nephrologist, neurologist, oncologist. So we used to take care of all the things. So in a week time we used to have four appointments. One time with pulmonologist, one time with nephrologist, one time with neurologist, and one time with the oncologist. But in ultimately in say, I'll say it just because it was a max, we can actually do some justice to her in terms of the kind of comfort that she has actually got
Hmm.
during her end stages. Otherwise, I'll say it would have been a difficult for a person to get the treatment done. And even I have when I think last year I've attended 2 3 healing circles with Gotham, and I think Shweta was there. I think who is actually now a key part of Gen Onco, who do some writings, right? If I remember. So Dimple also have spoke to once regarding the uh, complexity that actually arises with the case.
Hmm.
I think I've gone through your page and all. So
Hmm.
ultimately, I'll say the biggest bottleneck that people actually get in is in deciding the hospital and is in deciding the treatment, because every doctor will say a different thing to a particular disease,
Yes.
and it is very difficult for a person to actually think like where he wants to go. So,
Yes.
and a, and I'll say a right decision is actually what actually is the key factor in the whole treatment that I've actually seen. You make a one wrong decision and it's all gone.
Yes.
So I think deciding the doctor, deciding the treatment is a very important thing in it, because I'll tell you, one of my friend is there
Hmm.
whose wife is having a cancer and he never went for chemotherapies because
Oh.
he's already seen a case where chemotherapies have actually done more harm than justice to his
Hmm.
brother. So instead of chemotherapies, he went through naturopathy,
Hmm.
and I think it's 6 years. Our wife is doing fine. She is a patient of
Oh.
pancreatic cancer,
Okay.
totally naturopathy, and she's totally doing fine.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So I
So,
have lot of cases
hmm.
like this, but I'll tell you, if a person is actually going for allopathy and then deciding to go for other regimens will not help. It
Yes.
is like in the starting itself, you have to decide which path you have to take. If you thought like maybe going for naturopathy or Ayurvedic, but not helping, you can still shift to allopathy. But once you started allopathy, your Ayurvedic and naturopathy will not help you in a long run. Because
Yeah.
even in my mom case from 2018, we have started giving her Ayurvedic treatment also side by side. That
Okay.
also helped her to load of immunobooster. Even I there is a center called DS Research Center in Hyderabad.
Hmm.
So they give Ayurvedic. So they gave you load of herbal supplements that actually the re, help you revitalize the bodies in terms of nutrients and the energy.
Hmm.
So that is also, but still very expensive. They take like 15, 18,000 a month for particular
Oh.
their 1 month uh, doses. So we gave her like almost for a year and a half. But I
Hmm.
still feel like it is like a collaborative approach that you have to go towards the patient. We tried every hook and hook that we can, but ultimately I'll
Yes.
say not everybody is able to do it, which is
Yes.
very I don't know, but this is very financially strained disease and lot of mental support you need. I've seen people like after a year or 2 years they just give up because it takes a lot of you. You cannot. You have to lose your normal stuff, and then just have to keep it on the medicine. So that
Yes.
that helps a lot. So even I'll say key what happened is like shifting from earlier uh, group families to shifting to a nuclear family is also kind of distress I think the people are facing nowadays. Early
Hmm.
in smaller towns you go, even in my smaller towns we go. So you will see like there the female families are living obviously near to each other. So you get a lot of support. But when you come to metro cities where actually the number of cases are high, people are living very nuclear, and you will find a lot of issues mm, when you're actually living nuclear because you need a lot of people to support you
Yes.
to take care of other things and to focus on. So that also is a bigger issue that the people in the
Yes.
metro face.
Hmm. So it all started with just a stone in gallbladder, right?
Yes, yes, it started with just a stone in gallbladder, and it was there for like for a prolonged period of time, and then it turns into a tumor. And then we have checked with doctor, and doctor has said a lot of cases has coming up like nowadays, like where the people doesn't treat the stones for long period of time, and then it turning out into a tumor kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yes.
So any other lifestyle changes she made during the treatment?
In terms of lifestyle changes, I'll say obviously as the people say, we cut down our sugar and all, right?
Yes.
You know, and during the initial stages, I'll say we don't do have any kind of lifestyle changes. during the chemotherapies. When the chemotherapies were over, the lifestyle changes was like obviously she started going for walk and all she used to do.
Hmm.
So she was very particular in her morning walk.
Hmm.
So she used to walk around. She was happy. Well, she was living a very normal life. And definitely in starting we have some lifestyle changes. But later on, I think the diet was very normal. Doctor advised us to give us normal diet. So no particular change anybody has actually advised so far. And I was also not so illiterate, sorry, in the starting of but the whole disease. During the period of 5 years only, I have learned all these things like how it matters and how it doesn't matters.
Yes.
So in when again she get recurrence of cancer, then I actually do a lot of research on food habits and all. In last 2 years of definitely we have a shift in her food habits. We used to give her uh, obviously the cooked food and all,
Hmm.
and we used to give her less oils. We used to give her green teas and all. So whatever the best we can have, the chia seeds, dry fruits,
Hmm.
we put a little on these stuff. We cut down the fast foods and everything. We cut down on those stuff. Even the we used to give her curd only, no milk. We used to give her, although the doctor advised to give milk, but we stopped giving the milks.
Hmm.
Right. So all those things, I think we have done a lot of changes, but only during the last 2 years, not on the starting of the treatment when we
Oh.
actually, because the things were, I also don't know many much things about it.
Hmm.
And I think the data, I think the recent development also in these things I've actually seen in last 3 4 years only. It was not there at back in 2014-15. There lot of information was not available at that point of time in terms of the food habits and all. And we have also seen there has been a huge rises into cases, particularly the cancer cases in last 3 4 years,
Yes.
because we can actually see in hospitals when we used to go it was not so much crowded, but now when we used to go in later years it used to be so crowded. So obviously we can see like obviously the cases are rising and it's rising high.
Yes. So she was fine on 1 month, and on other days she was like she had lot of troubles. So
Yeah,
some days it were fine, and some days she had lot of troubles. And
right.
so how you and your mother managed everything mentally? Like it's so tiring to continuously go through these things.
Yes, definitely. What happened is like when she was fine, she was like totally fine. Nobody even say like she has anything, because when she has no pain, she is
Hmm.
all energetic. She is down the lanes. She used to go for walk alone, and so but definitely when she was down, so we were always there in the family to help her out, and uh, we try to help her very mentally, like nothing is gonna happen. It's just a part of the treatment, right? And
Hmm.
obviously it's a tough part, but definitely things will turn out to be fine after all these troubles that we had. So we used to give a lot of mental support, and we used to be 100% totally available, to 100% totally available, like no sort of like we are not touch, we are not there, or we just put her on anything, nothing sort of things that happen. Even we used to call people from my hometowns, so that more people are there and she's a little more engaged with them
Hmm.
in terms of
Hmm.
talk. So that actually helps a lot when people see their loved ones near to them.
Yes.
So then they have things to talk. So it is basically a kind of I'll say mind diverting activity. You have to take care,
Yes.
and uh, and you have to keep doing it consistently,
Hmm.
uh, and because that is the only key part that we have. And I always used to say her like, if we don't do this, then more bad will come. So she used to be like, okay, चलो ठीक है कर लेते हैं. मैंने कहा तो because what happen is like मैंने कहा अगर हम ये नहीं करेंगे तो आगे चीज़ और खराब हो जाएगी. So we used to be like this, he will not do this, more bad will come. We used to do this, more bad will come. So that's how it happens. Like he, till the end of her phase, we keep giving her the best treatments, and she was
Mm,
totally fine. She was walking. She was not bedridden for I think not more than 1 week or two. She was totally gone. When she used to go hospital, also she used to walk. Till last time, she used to walk.
oh,
So that is the only thing. Like what happened is like all of the treatment that you are giving, all of the diseases that you have, that actually what happened is like you are trying to stabilize everything, all for disease, and then suddenly a bubble get burst. It happens that in her case, like all of a sudden, her all the cases her get complicated in terms of. So that is how it happens in the late. But till late, we are been in a position to stabilize her everything. So that is the best thing I'll say that the doctor has done. Like she has stabilized her Parkinson to an extent, she has stabilized her nephrologies and to the lungs also and to the cancer also. We have been able to stabilize everything. Like nothing was like beyond limit. But what happened is like there comes a day when everything's turned against you, and
yes,
that happens with her only. So till last
yes.
when she was like walking, eating, drink, she was doing everything. So
Okay, so
definitely the issues were there, but not so much that we usually see in normal cases. Like people get ridden, they cannot eat, and they have a lot of pain, they cannot. So we don't see these particular kind of cases. So we make sure like this particular thing doesn't happen, and because of the continuous pain management that we were doing for almost a year. So we have particularly morphines we have. So we have that particular phase कि हमें उनको 5 घंटे में एक हाफ गोली देनी है तो हम दे देते थे, because doctor has told us very clearly अगर आप देते रहोगे पेन will never come. क्योंकि पेन
okay,
इज लाइक कि अगर एक बार if it rises it is difficult to settle down, but if it settle down and if you don't let it rise it will never rise. It is like this way. So कि कभी पेन होने ही नहीं देना. कहते अगर हो गया तो
oh,
कम करना इज डिफिकल्ट, बट अगर उसको हम सप्रेस करके रखेंगे इट विल ऑलवेज बी इन सप्रेस कंडीशन. So
okay,
we follow that particular strategy, and then we never let her कि कोई भी पेन बढ़ रहा है तो we always try to कि पेन कम रहेगा तो बंदे का माइंड अपने आप ठीक रहता था, because once पेन स्टार्ट आपका माइंड एकदम से सब
yes.
खराब हो जाता था, all your manner. So very important is pain management is the most important thing in these particular diseases. क्योंकि if
Yes. So,
pain is not there then a person will be happy. अब पेन
yes,
है तो वो कुछ नहीं करेगा, we will not even eat.
yes.
Yeah.
So, how you took the initial shock of the diagnosis? Like, it's hard for everyone to accept it.
Right.
Yes.
So I'll say it was initial days was like were definitely hard. So we have a family doctor. So he himself is a pathologist in PGI. So he helped us, and my friend is there whose mom is also a doctor.
Okay.
So we have 2 3 doctors very close. So they help us in overcoming all of these things done. You won't believe, but all of my mom diagnoses was have been done within 5 6 days, including the
Oh,
biopsies, CT scan. So there has been from the day we came to know and the from to till the time we get the first treatment, it was I think just 7 or 8 days. Uh,
okay.
we have our own biopsies done. We get in subsurgeon that is also from my uh, doctor's friend. So she does the biopsy herself. We don't have to pay anything. We don't have to pay for anything. So everything has been managed because of the known doctors in the family in the
Okay.
starting. And definitely they said like we have to start at fast or else definitely we will not be in a position to uh, go for long in terms of anything. And secondly was like what happened in the starting, like my mom was okay, she was not so uh, so lethargic or something like that. She's just having a normal fever like kind of symptoms. So
Hmm.
which doctor gave medicine, so she was fine. So we started the treatment. She was in a very normal condition at that point of time. So that was also a boost. But definitely starting the treatment was in itself a mental trauma. I'll say we used to cry,
Hmm.
and but definitely the people around you will help you and help you motivate. You will
Yes.
always find person who are there with you in bad times by
Yes.
God grace. So
Yes.
definitely that is the only support we have at that point of time, and that's it's all started. So once it's all started, then we also had a mindset developed for treatment and for hospital in a period of time, and then we keep doing it. So only
Okay.
definitely the starting in itself is a tough part.
Yes.
Yes.
So, any message you want to give to patients or caregivers?
Patients and caregiver, I'll definitely say you should always have your hopes high till the time you have keep your hopes high, and it just because of the only hopes that we have, like we have to we have like so much of time spent for my mom, because usually when you see in CAGB on pancreatic case with
Hmm.
advanced stage for people, you don't have much lifespans. You
Hmm.
and the treatment also doesn't work in most of the cases we have seen. And these are basically the these particularly two particular solid tumors which where we have not seen any kind of particular advancement in terms of treatment.
Okay.
Still, we have only the basic treatments, first line,
Hmm.
second line, and no other
Hmm.
treatment is available in the last 20-25 years I've seen. So we have now treatment for lung cancer,
Hmm.
and we can see a lot of advancement in it. We have for blood, we can see a lot of advancement in it.
Hmm.
But in terms of abdominals, and in terms of abdominal, I'll say particularly the CAGV, pancreatic, and the colon,
Yeah.
we don't see much of treatment.
Hmm.
And we have and these are the particular three cases that we have seen where we have most number of reoccurrences.
Hmm.
You get reoccurrences after 6 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years. So you need to keep your hopes high. That actually very important. And the second is like you have to be very much conscious about what actually you are doing. You really need not to panic during the
Hmm.
treatment,
Hmm.
and you need to be very concise on, and you need to be very alarming on a lot of things. Uh, you cannot be casual with the treatment, and
Hmm.
definitely I'll say you have to find happiness for yourself also during the treatment. I'll say people, you should go out, move out, hang out, have
Hmm.
parties. Even when your patience is good, take him out, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
just don't leave your normal lifestyle.
Yes.
As much as you can, just live the normal life that you can, and
Yes.
that will keep you away from the mental distress that you have.
Hmm.
Because what happened is like I was not so much negative during the treatment, but after when my mom passed, then I actually get little bit of mental distress. अरे ये नहीं ये करा लेना चाहिए था, we should have taken that, है ना? So
Hmm.
उस time तो you have a objective, you have a motive, you have to fight. But what happen is like uh, when the person passes away, आप एकदम से ना your self esteem gone. So
Yes.
you will find कि अब क्या करें life में. You have no motive to live, right? Because
Right.
all of your life has been revolving around a person for last 5 years, and then all of a sudden you become an aimless person in life. So it happened.
Hmm.
So you need to be very motivated. And in terms of diet, I'll say diet is an important plan, important
Hmm.
for a person. You need to keep a person healthy by giving him the best diet. I think you need to
Right.
take care of everything in diet. Like you have to manage the constipation, you have to manage the vomits, you have to manage everything.
Mm.
So whatever the best you can do for that, you have to give him. You have to always give the fresh food, no stale food, no fridge foods. In the 5.5 years, we have not never given my mom any fridge foods, no fridge foods, just
Okay.
need to eat. And in terms of fruit also, you have to give the fruits which you have to peel, right?
Hmm. Right.
So you have to learn a lot of things. Like it is like a different journey, and you have to learn a lot of things to
Yes.
help out a person. And you need to be very proactive in everything. You cannot say ki, let ki things will happen, then you will learn. You have to be proactive. Like what are the scenarios you have? What are the future outcomes? Can it be scenario one, scenario two, scenario three, and you need to be prepared for each and everything.
Yes.
So, and in terms of when you are actually the person is in also in terminal stage, you also have to be prepared for like whether the things, whether you want the person to be in hospital, whether you want the person to be near you, whether you want the person to be in at house.
Hmm.
So, lot of planning is done needs to be done. And I
Yes.
think a person who is going through already so much of pain of losing a person, and then you have to take care of all these things, I'll say it's like a bit of a difficult task. So definitely you have to find a person in a life who can take a decision for you also,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So I think it's like a collaborative thing you have to do. Object high, diet, planning, proactive, exercise. My mom used to go to exercise with me in the park. Every morning we used to take her, right?
Okay.
So every comfort and hygiene most
Yes.
important.
Most important.
So
Yes.
you need to take care of everything. But definitely I'll say कि never lose a hope.
Hmm.
Always be optimistic and and just just keep all the loved ones near to you. That will help you.
Yes.
Just keep yourself more engaged to lot of people, right? So
Right.
that will help you ease out with lot of things. So
Yes.
surrounding of people is very important, very
Hmm.
important.
Yes.
And feel free to cry when you feel like.
Yes. This is so important.
Yes.
Yes.
So that will help you.
Yes.
And keep and I'll say the most important, the most important thing that I loved in keep uh, uh, have a connection with the person who is actually going through the same stage. So you will
Yes.
be more supportive and relaxed because when you used to be in hospital, we used to meet a lot of patients, we used to meet a lot of caregivers. So they used to give more comfort than we can give to ourselves or our patients.
Yes.
So patient is saying to a patient, you will be fine, will give a more positive note than a person who is totally fine is saying a person कि आप ठीक हो जाओगे.
Yes. It will
So
keep you
that will
motivated.
it will keep you motivated. So वो
Yes.
बहुत important है कि अगर आप
Yes.
एक ट्रीटमेंट से जा रहे हो और आपके साथ एक और बंदा है वो भी सेम ट्रीटमेंट से जा रहा है, so there is a probability कि आप दोनों ठीक हो जाओगे एक दूसरे को देख के because they will
Yes.
help you motivate. So वो बहुत
Yes.
important है. So
Yes.
building a bond with the person who is in the same journey with you will definitely help you in the long run.
Yes.
So
And this
वो
is
एक बहुत
what the yes. And this is what the purpose of cancer healing journey talks is.
yes,
Yes.
right.
Right.
That's I actually understand like now like can I actually even like the idea how Dimple have actually gone through it, right? And then she
Yes.
developed it. It's good.
Yes. So I'm
Right,
sure many people will get inspired by a story and by your mother's courage. Hats off to you and your mother.
right.
The
Yes.
way you never lose
So
hope.
yes, you should never.
Yes. So Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. It was
Right,
such
Deepak.
an amazing and inspiring journey.
Right, right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime you need any kind of help, just please ping me up, right?
Yes,
I
yes,
am there in
sure.
the WhatsApp group of both that we have now.
Love is cancer.
Xenon. Yes, yes, I'm on both the groups. I keep seeing the updates, but definitely
Oh,
sometimes I have my own issues going on, so I'm not 100%. But in exceptional cases, definitely I'll be there for each and everything
hmm.
available.
Oh, okay. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Storeroom. Hmm. Yes, because what happened is like for in last 5 years actually I've lost everything. So
Hmm.
now I'm again moving back to studies to build myself
Okay.
again. So
Okay.
my office is gone, I don't have a job. So everything is gone. So that is the reason I believe in focus on different things. So, but yeah, I keep connected to a lot of events related to cancer. I am always
Okay.
there for stand up and for any kind of thing to for the people who is actually going through it.
Yes.
Because that is actually I also do that day because you actually leave a person, you actually live the life that you have actually lived behind it. Because my whole journey for last 5 years have been with mom is with this only. So when you
Hmm.
actually help a person, when I went to hospital, I actually remember her only. It happens
Yeah.
like that way only. So
Yes.
you live your family persons in other persons. So that is why I think the people, that how it's all happens.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much and all the best to you. You are starting from
Yeah, yeah,
very beginning now, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So all the best to
Yes.
you.